The Saints officially defeat the Chicago Bears and are moving on to the divisional round to host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Andrews Pete, you made the adjustments, but you're still on probation, sir. What's good, everybody? It is the one and only Who Dat Davis here for you. And if you don't know, you will know that over here we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. And thank y'all for joining me for this post-game show edition of the New Orleans Saints defeating the Chicago Bears 21-9. I'm going to say 21-3 because that was a garbage time touchdown. So 21-3. Let's go ahead and get into what we need to get into. For those who caught my halftime show, my little halftime show, I was very critical of the offensive line interior of Cesar Ruiz and Andrews Pete. They had a lot of blown assignments. They had gaps bigger than, the Grand Canyon. Andrews Pete giving up that interior to a stunt to Robert Quinn a handful of times. I count 3 in the first half alone. I think 1 only in the second half. But in the second half, speaking of, the Saints made the necessary adjustments offensively. They finally managed to get going. They got Deontay Harris involved. I believe Deontay Harris is the player of the game in terms of offense and defensively. I think it's a tough one, but I have to give that one to Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore, the defensive player of this game, and Deontay Harris, the offensive player in this game. Deontay Harris didn't finish with a touchdown, but he was the go-to guy. And we all thought it was going to be Michael Thomas. But Deontay Harris came in. He made a lot of plays. He had 7 to 8 catches, close to 100 yards. This man balled out coming off of that stinger. And he gave the same good field position whenever he got the green light to return it on kick returns or punt returns. So shout out to Deontay Harris coming in and making an immediate impact, picking up where he left off. Secondly, I had to shout out to Lil Jordan Humphrey, man. He was a great blocker on the outside, a great blocker on the inside. And on top of that, he had a great third down conversion that went for 15 yards when he only needed 11. Lil Jordan Humphreys is getting that play time, man. You can see it whenever he gets called up from the practice squad, and it's really refreshing. It's good to see players like that finally get their numbers called and being able to contribute in a big game such as this. The moment wasn't too big for the raw prospect out of Texas. So shout out to Lil Jordan Humphrey. Michael Thomas did get involved. Speaking of, he only caught 1 touchdown reception, and he had that big 25 or 22 or 25 yarder that set up the Saints in Chicago territory. It wasn't a slant for those who want to use that slant narrative. So overall, this offense looked like what they should have looked like in the first half. Alvin Kamara had 99 yards on I think 22 carries. I think he was the best running back so far in this wild game, even though we still have 1 game to go pending between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns, who have that dangerous tandem in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. But I think Alvin Kamara had the best day as a runner. Henry was limited to 5 yards. He only had 40 yards on the ground against the likes of Baltimore Ravens. I'm very happy with how the Saints adjusted during that halftime. I'm happy Sean Payton managed to get the right people in the right places, using them to their strengths and getting the run game going. Latavius Murray and Patrick Robinson both went down to thigh injuries. We don't know the extent of that yet. Hopefully those 2 are minor and they'll be good to go next week against Tampa Bay, provided they play Sunday. If not, they're most likely going to play Saturday, which is going to be on a short week. And you may see Ty Montgomery be activated to substitute in for the likes of Latavius Murray and maybe even Grant Haley coming off of the practice squad. Maybe Keith Washington coming up from the practice squad to fill in that backup role for Patrick Robinson if he's not able to go. But I'm very happy overall with this team, man. Look, I was very critical for the fact that this is a game where they should have won comfortably, and they gave the Saints, me included, obviously, a lot of they got our hearts racing. You know, they looked flat coming out, but they finally got their feet underneath them, and you're going to need that momentum. Going in Tampa Bay, who's playing some of their best football right now. They look like they've gotten all of their stuff figured out up front in terms of offensive line. They limited the likes of who was a number 3 or number 4 ranked defense going into Saturday's matchup, but they fell flat to Tampa Bay's slew of weapons. Now, granted, the New Orleans Saints can match up well against the likes of Mike Evans, Chris and Antonio Brown, Cameron Brate, Rob Gronkowski. I think those are matchups that favor the Saints really well. I think Sean Payton understands that Todd Bowles is a blitzing guy. He's going to get Drew Brees, working efficiently. I think the interior is going to go also pretty well against the Bucs defensive line for the sole fact that they know who to cover and who to double up on, et cetera, et cetera. What gets from this game? Look, I'm not all that surprised that the Saints won this game because it was a game they should have won. Now, as I said earlier, the Saints had a 7-3 slow start, and they finally picked up the momentum. And you need more stuff like that, man. You can't put yourselves in holes like that going in, in this postseason, because teams like Tampa Bay, teams like Green Bay, teams like Los Angeles, they're going to make you pay for those if you don't get off to a hot start. You have to score early. You have to score often. It doesn't matter how you do it. You just have to score and keep ahead of the Saints.
The Saints playing next week?
They're playing Tampa Bay.
When?
I don't know yet. They haven't announced it. Grandma.
Yes, they did, but I missed it.
Grandma, I have the TV muted.
Cookie said Sunday.
I have the TV muted. I didn't hear it.
Well, Cookie said Sunday.
Okay, Sunday. Cool. No. That's Grandma, everybody. Grandma wasn't here with a bell. You know what I'm saying? Come here. So say hi to the folks.
Okay.
Yes, this is Grandma. She wanted to know when the Saints were playing next. In here ringing the bell, doing her little thing. She about the bell out for everybody.
Hey.
I apologize for not being here for my live reactions and showing you guys the bell, but she wasn't here whenever the Saints scored. Shout out to Grandma, y'all. But yeah, she says the Saints play next Sunday against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that actually gives the Saints plenty of time to get Latavius Murray healed up, Patrick Robinson healed up. And overall, the Saints got away from this game overall pretty healthy, and that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? You need guys like that to maintain.
This on? You had it on.
I had it on. Thank you.
Leave it on.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Grandma, man. But yeah, man. Look, if they are playing on Sunday, that's really good for the Saints. Okay, they need Latavius Murray. They need Patrick Robinson. If Janoris Jenkins or Marshawn Lattimore go down, you never know in these such situations. So, the defensive line for the Saints is probably going to get even healthier if Trey Hendrickson is able to play this Sunday. Next Sunday, excuse me. That's a big add, because he gives you a lot in terms of pass rush, and you need that pass rush to affect Tom Brady. As you can see, Chris Godwin was feeling the effects of a game against Washington. He had four drops that should have been easy catches. He had Mike Evans, who was kind of quiet in the second half. The only type of production they had was with Antonio Brown on quick outs and quick wide receiver screens. And I think the Saints can defend that pretty well. They can defend against the likes of Leonard Fournette. They can defend the likes of Ronald Jones or Keyshawn Vaughn. They have the tools. They just had to put it all together. Look, I don't have too much to say. I got a lot of my thoughts out in the halftime shows. Let me go ahead and open up the phone lines for everybody while I read out some of these comments. There y'all go. Look, man, I'm really happy. And we have Yvette Green. What's going on with you, Yvette? We them real boys. Yes, sir. Shouts out to Yvette. I think this is my first time seeing you. I appreciate you checking out the State of Black and Gold post-game show. I hope I see you next week. I'm going to do another post-game show. I may do a live reaction. I may not. It all depends on how this week goes in terms of if I get any calls from family members coming in and watching the game and all that, because, given what's at stake. Picking the flick says, nice catch by Jimmy Graham. Look, all shots out in the world to Jimmy Graham on that catch. I'm not going to count it personally because it was a garbage time touchdown, but that was a good catch by Jimmy Graham. I will give him that. You know, Jimmy Graham was an underrated tight end, a former basketball player turned tight end. And I believe he should have stayed with the Saints. He could have been in a Hall of Fame discussion if he had just stayed. Same with the likes of Darren Sproles. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jimmy Graham. I got nothing but respect for that man. Chanel, thank God. Yes, sir. Thank God the Saints got it together at the right time. Honestly, this game should have never given me such anxiety. Can't start so slow next week. I agree. The Saints need to start off hot, need to start off early, need to score often. They need to have that Week 9 performance they had against Tampa Bay. They need that. They need that in a big way. You know, granted, Tampa Bay's gotten what they want to do offensively almost down to a T, but if you can get at least a sliver of that Week 9 performance out of this team on both sides of the ball, I'm going to be very happy going into the NFC Championship. But I'm not looking too ahead. I'm not looking too far forward in the NFC Championship. We're taking it one game at a time. Hopefully, this team keeps their head on the swivel and save all that hand checking, all the celebrations and stuff until after the game is already well decided and well in hand, because you need to keep that focus. The game can get away from you quick, fast, in a hurry. All it takes is one explosive play, and the Bucs have plenty of explosive receivers on hand, all hands on deck. They have Antonio Brown with all that speed. They have Mike Evans isn't much of a deep threat, but he is that intermediate guy. Or Chris Godwin and Cameron Brate, sometimes even Rob Gronkowski. So long as these guys keep up to what they need to keep up with, I'm going to be very, very happy. Damian Parker, shout out to Damian, another core guy. He says, happy with our defense. Let's just keep it. Offense needs to score frequently. Where's Rupert? That's a good question. Where is Rupert? Marcus Ryan, shout out to Marcus Ryan. He says, Deontay Harris is our Tyreek Hill pretty much. I agree. Deontay Harris is getting as much impact on the Saints offense as possible. You need someone like that. You know, Deontay Harris is the Scotty Miller. He's like the Scotty Miller of the Saints also when you think about it. You know, those guys are pretty fast. Let's go ahead and get into our first caller here. It is the one, the only, Jerry Poor. What's going on with you, Jerry?
What's going on with you, Aaron? Who that to you?
Who that to you, my man? I got my heart rate slowed down finally. The Saints didn't give me that scare I was afraid of. You know what I'm saying? You know, they picked it up when they needed to pick it up. But what you got for me, Jerry?
I just wanted to tell you, bro. First of all, happy 2021 to you. Hope your year is off to a good start. You and your grandma. Shouts out to grandma. Hey, grandma.
I'll make sure she gets that when we're done here, my man. What else you got for me?
All right, but I heard you were ranting earlier when it was halftime. But I said in the comment section, I say, calm down, bro. Don't forget, the Saints are a second half team. So, I mean, in the first half, it was okay, but you know how the Saints roll in the second half, bro. They kick it up a notch. They're like Emeril Lagasse, bro. They kick it up a notch.
Yeah, man. I definitely agree that the Saints are a team. It's just we've seen this type of movie before with the Saints being a second half team. Look back no further than the 2018 game, a divisional game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and that was just by pure stroke of luck. Alshon Jeffrey missing a wide open pass, and it ends up in the awaiting arms of Marshawn Lattimore. And let's look no further than last season with the Minnesota Vikings. They rallied back in that game, but they still lost in overtime. The point I was making with all that rant is we know that this team is a second half team, but when you play a team that has explosive players on the offensive side of the ball, guys who are able to make plays and make you pay for it whenever you don't capitalize on 3 and outs or turnovers. Being a second half team just sometimes is not going to cut it. You're playing with fire at that point. So I just want the Saints to be a little more efficient on in that first half, so it's not put in the hands of the officials or a bad call on the defense.
I agree with you. And before I get to go anywhere else, shout out to everybody that's in the chat, to Marcus, Chanel, to everybody that's out there. Hope y'all's year off to a good start as mine is. And who that to you? Let's beat these Tampa Bay Yucks on next Sunday at 5:40 at the Dome. And that was in the chat right there. Because next Sunday we play the Bucks at 5:40. Well, 6:40 in the Eastern time, 5:40 Central time, 4:40 Mountain time, 3:40 Pacific time.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to that one.
Hey, and you can pass that on to grandma and let her know too. Even though she already know, pass it on to
her. You want Jerry Poor wants grandma to know. So your wish will be granted, sir. As soon as we're done here, grandma will be notified. You have my word.
All right, man. But I just want to before I get up, I just want to say I'm gonna leave you with these 5 words, and I'm gonna close out with this: don't count out the Saints. They may be off to a slow start in the first half, but wait till the second half when they kick it up a notch. Like I said, because these guys know exactly what to do: offense, defense, and special teams. But you got to give it up to Deontay Harris because he was the biggest factor in this game. Big factor. I got to give it to Deontay Harris. That little joker could run.
Absolutely, man. Look, Deontay Harris is a little more elusive than Tyreek Hill. I think those guys are pretty much on an even playing field in terms of speed. But I trust more of Deontay Harris than Tyreek Hill when it comes to being a vertical threat or key third and short situations. Tyreek Hill is not going to be able to dance around defenders like Deontay Harris is. This guy is elusive. He is slippery. This guy is like a walking stick of butter. Okay, so shout out to Deontay Harris being the number 1 guy in this game. I fully expected Michael Thomas to be the number 1 receiver, but it was actually Deontay Harris, despite having no touchdown reception. So and to do that coming off of a stinger in your neck, that's no joke, especially coming off an injury like that can really inhibit you going forward. Deontay Harris, I think, was close to 100 yards of reception. That's I think that's 20 yards over the next person. Which I believe is Jared Cook or Michael Thomas. It's one of the two. Deontay Harris is very underrated. A lot of people don't talk about him because he doesn't get that much targets. But Deontay Harris is that X factor going forward through this postseason. So I definitely agree with you on that.
Absolutely.
All right, Jeremy, go ahead. Let you go, man. You got anything else for us, or do you want to go ahead and plug in your stuff? Let people know where to reach you.
Just the only thing I can say to you and the Who Dat Nation that's in the chat. We just gotta take it one game at a time. Like I said, but you gotta give credit to that Chicago Bear defense because they came out and played even though they scored late at the end by once our own tight end Jimmy Graham, but it was still a win is a win. And that's all I can say.
I appreciate you calling.
I appreciate you calling in, Jerry. Yes, sir. And once again, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I love each and every one of y'all. Who that to you? And ain't nothing y'all can do a game at a time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you calling in, Jerry. Call back anytime, brother. Yeah, that's Jerry Poor, everybody. A knowledgeable guy, a passionate guy. You love guys like this, man. You love guys like Jerry Poor coming in, giving his passionate thoughts, his intellectual thoughts, and it's really refreshing to have guys like Jerry Poor being able to make a very insightful point on the likes of Deontay Harris coming in and making a immediate impact coming off of a stinger. Or, Drew Brees showing that he doesn't have this noodle arm, or Michael Thomas not being this slant guy that everybody keeps making him out to be. I want to go back to this comment right here from Rose City. Shout out to Rose City, a.k.a. William Dickerson. He says, Who Dat Davis? Yeah, offense going to have to start better. We want to know, and Tampa want to know. What happened in the regular season was then. New season got to be on P's and Q's. Absolutely, man. Look, you can't fall flat against a team like Tampa Bay. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing with a lot of emotion. They're playing with a lot of expectation because they have Tom Brady. And Tom Brady may be 43 years old, but he can make you pay when you don't capitalize when you have to capitalize. So starting out flat is a no bueno. You know what I'm saying? So Damian Parker, he said we saw Lil Jordan starting today. I love Lil Jordan Humphrey. When coming up off the practice squad, being able to make plays when your number is called, getting a first down on a 3rd and long, being elusive, like that's gonna get you places. And and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lil Jordan Humphreys can offer, hopefully next week. I hope that he stays on the active roster, being called up on the practice squad, regardless of Traquan Smith potentially coming back. Traquan Smith is due to come back for this divisional game. And if that's the case, then I still hope they give Lil Jordan Humphrey the look, because that man is something. Next week against the Bucs, says Marcus Ryan, if they win the coin toss, they should get the ball first. Get a touchdown, get off to a fast start. I don't agree, but I can respect that. I can respect that point of view. See, my thing is, you want that advantage going into the second half with getting possession, especially if you're able to get points off of a 2-minute drive and then get more points going into the second half. So I think the Saints need to keep leaning on the defense a little bit, making sure that defense doesn't get too relaxed or relax on their laurels, and make sure that Tom Brady knows that they are there. They are going to make plays. They're going to be in his face all game. So I do believe the Saints need to keep passing off, giving the Bucs the first possession in the first half, and then coming back, scoring on 2-minute drive, and then scoring extra points in the start of the second half. That's just my take on it. You know what I'm saying? Space says Deontay Harris showed up. I believe that was one of the ones I read off earlier. Marcus Ryan says, I was holding my breath when Drew was jumping for that touchdown. Dude came back just from a broken ribs and gave it to the fullback. Look, I absolutely agree with you, man. Look, Michael Burton is a really underrated fullback. I see Michael Burton like 49ers use Kyle Juszczyk. This guy is a dynamic player. He can give you 2 different things. Three different things. He's a 3-dimensional type of fullback, and that's very rare in the NFL today. Not many people use fullbacks. You see Baltimore use their fullback to the full in terms of passes out to the flat to give Lamar Jackson rhythm. You've seen the 49ers use lean on Kyle Juszczyk, being able to be the slot guy, this guy who can catch passes pretty effectively. I think we have that in Michael Burton. He is a very, very underrated guy. He is a physical guy. I think he's more, of a physical guy than Zach Streif was when he was here. So I do believe Michael Burton needs to get those. If you're not going to give it to Alvin Kamara or Latavius Murray, you had to protect Drew Brees. If he injures those ribs because you wanted to do a play call like that, then that's just utterly foolish. You have to protect your quarterback like that against a stout defensive interior like Chicago, who is able to really hurt you when you're trying to stretch that ball over that white line. So I definitely agree with Marcus Ryan here. That's an excellent point. Give the ball to your fullback if you're not going to, sneak it with Taysom or give it to one of your running backs. Space Ghost says that O-line kept Khalil Mack in the library. It was a quiet game for that guy. That's a shout out to these tackles and Ryan Ramczyk and Teron Armstead. That's why I'm so high on Ryan Ramczyk getting that just do extension. You can't let a guy like Ryan Ramczyk go if he's able to, completely shut out a guy so as prolific as Khalil Mack, one of the better edge rushers in the NFL. Probably one of top 5, if not top 3 edge rushers in the entire NFC. So if he can do that against the likes of Khalil Mack, just think of what he can do against against other guys. So you need to pay Ryan Ramczyk, and Teron Armstead is just a manhandler. He's just a beast. Being able to blanket, the likes of Robert Quinn when he's not stuffing on the inside. These 2 tackles these are the best tackle combos in the NFL, and that's my honest opinion. You can argue with the wall if you don't agree. Let me go ahead and read one more before we get out of here, because we have one more game being played right now against, the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just read one more comment. You guys can enjoy the rest of your night. And that's going to be the Marcus Ryan saying we can't afford to start off slow next week in the playoffs against Tom Brady in the first half. We need to be a first and second half team. I absolutely agree with you, man. Tampa Bay is going to make you pay if you don't capitalize when you have the ball on this Tampa defense. You can run, sideline to sideline, and you just have the right type of personnel, right type of execution. You can get those 3 to 4 yards per carry. You don't have to run and break up for a big play. Just make sure it's effective when you need to give Drew Brees' arm a break. You know what I'm saying? So if they stay on their P's and Q's and make sure they keep ahead of the sticks and get out to an early lead and maintain it throughout the second half, they can ride into the NFC Championship game with a lot of confidence. Just the fact that they knocked off Tom Brady and they knocked off this Bucs team that have a lot of expectations, saying that they're going to make a run to the Super Bowl. So that's it. That's all I got for right now. I appreciate everybody that tuned in to join us. And as always, we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. Tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. Yes, that's 1 p.m. Central Time for my final thoughts. And we bleed black and gold until we're dead and cold. Enjoy tonight's game.